This is from a troublemaker named Paul from Florida who wanted to share this. I think it's worth talking about. Gayle King crashes North Carolina wedding. It was a gay wedding. Now, I do want to talk about this because we are always shown stuff like this in the culture. Like, oh, look, a celebrity crashed a wedding. Like Tom Hanks was in the same hotel. He crashed a wedding. Isn't it great? Isn't he a nice guy? Isn't Gayle a nice person? I say no. Think about the narcissism you need to possess to be like, I'm staying in a venue and there's a wedding going on and I don't know any of these people. And they know me because I'm a famous person, one would think, but wouldn't they love it if I showed up? Wouldn't they love it if I just came in and said, hey, everyone, look at me. I mean, this is the biggest day of people's lives. You often hear movie stars say, I go on red carpets. I get the treatment, the hair and the makeup and the photographs and the attention. And like, that's like a wedding almost. This is the one day in most people's lives where they are the star. And assholes like Gayle King, it's not enough that she's an astronaut now. It's not enough that she's over befouling Venice with Oprah. She's got to crash a wedding and show what a great person she is. Oh, fuck off. Okay. Dear Maureen, please don't use my name. It's okay. Just signed a troublemaker. I wanted to share my lovely experience with one of the greatest minds of our time, Whoopi Goldberg. Now, this was circa 2006. At this point, the troublemaker says Whoopi's career was in the toilet and she was completely washed up. This troublemaker was super young and working on a promotional shoot. She doesn't want to get into specifics. These are identifying details. But it was like a public health issue. So it was like a PSA. It wasn't some glitzy Hollywood affair, this troublemaker says, where asshole behavior should be expected. This was something that celebrities were doing to, quote, show they care. And during these times, they are normally on their best behavior. Anyway, the American treasure known as Whoopi Goldberg, Black people have it worse than women in Iran. Whoopi Goldberg, dwarf mind, mini nerve, keep an eye out. Obviously hadn't gotten the memo about not being an asshole because she acted as though the entire thing was a personal affront to her. I love the word affront. When I politely said hello to her, she said nothing and looked at me as though she was smelling a steaming pile of dog shit. It's the same feeling when you watch her on The View, as if she were doing everyone a huge favor by simply showing up, giving her professionally aggrieved, idiotic hot takes, and then collecting millions of dollars. Yes. I also pulled this minor Diddy update from the Daily Mail, which scored an interview, an exclusive with one of Diddy's male escorts, who, money quote, and showing quite a lot of self-awareness. I was there for my penis. His penis got him in. Penis kept him in the party. Name of said escort, Anton Hardin. Again, nominative determinism, I think. This from a troublemaker who asks to go by Trixie. I just can't help but write to you quietly about how I feel about Tyler Perry, who we got to the other episode, compared to Kevin Spacey. I was an extra. Again, these are just the testimonials of troublemakers. I was an extra on House of Cards every season and had the unique opportunity to watch Kevin in action. We could all see how he would pick out his boy toy for the day when the director called cut. He would beeline it to whoever he picked out. He didn't care if the guy was gay or not. Also, crew came to realize that Kevin didn't like facial hair, so they all grew beards. Okay. And finally, a very heartfelt email from a troublemaker named Melissa, man's best friend. And this goes to the segment we just did with Bill from Brooklyn about a New York judge ruling that dogs are immediate family. My dad was one of those tough old farmers who never showed emotion. He had several working dogs, but one named Scott was special. He broke his leg jumping on the back of the truck as he went everywhere with Dad. Most farmers where I come from would have put the dog down. Dad took Scott to the vet. They amputated his leg. So for the rest of Scott's life, with only 3 legs, Dad would lift him onto the truck and off they would go to work. Dad was 78 when he had a major stroke and was in the hospital for 5 weeks. I went home every day to help. Scott, the 3-legged border collie cross sheepdog, helped with all of this by mustering sheep to loading lambs on the truck. And all the rest of the time, he would lie at the gate by the sheep yards waiting for Dad every day for 5 weeks. I couldn't get him to come home except for dinner. Dad finally came home. A few weeks later, the dog died after the dad came home. I had never seen my father with tears in his eyes. That dog was really his best friend, and she dug the grave under the chestnut tree to bury Scott because her dad wasn't strong enough. And I will say, again, to just the gift that dogs are to all of us. A few years ago, I had to have surgery, and it wasn't anything major, but surgery is surgery. You get up at 4 a.m, it's dark, you're away for hours, and I had family helping me out and went to the hospital, left my dog at home. And I was told when I got back, maybe 3 p.m, that my dog, Teddy Van Halen, who you can see on Instagram, had sat at the front door and wouldn't move for anything until I came back. And you can't articulate that kind of love. You just can't do it.